I've been a fan of the Elixir since it came out, and it does exactly what I need to do. Long off the tee, holds a lot of greens. I can easily spin it with the wedges. Performs very well, okay? When the new ball came out, the Vero X1, I was skeptical because they say it's longer off the tee, but usually that means it's a harder cover. Well, it's not a harder cover. It's just as spinny as the Elixir, but it just pounces off the face. It is amazing. So I highly recommend it if you're looking for an extra couple yards off the tee and still want that same spin number that you get in your wedges and your irons and everything else. It is an awesome ball. Team Encore. See that? Got me for life.
For more information, their website is www.encoregolf.com. And be more with Encore.
Having a corporate or charity golf event? Backswing Golf Events can supply your tournament with personable, professional golfers to entertain and fundraise on the golf course. They can accommodate any size group, whether it be 3 players to 500. They are your team. From range lessons, Beat the Pro, and Pro-Am style roaming, they're making lasting memories one swing at a time. So make sure to check out backswinggolfevents.com or call us direct at 661-316-3093 and book your pros now. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to On Par with Amanda. Hopefully you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and are still getting over those food comas. This week, I wanted to bring in both of my sidekicks for On Par with Amanda. Hello, gentlemen. Hi.
Hi.
Starting to feel a lot like Christmas. I got my peppermint mocha coffee here. My Big Golf Talk coffee mug. Get yours. Oh, yeah, that's right. We don't have it for sale yet. We will have it for sale, though, very, very soon.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah. Well, welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me this week. I know we touched on it. We've touched on it multiple times, but a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the lack of coverage for the LPGA, Symetra Tour, and some of these moments that aren't being captured that really need spotlight and attention. And so I came across, and I know talking with you, Beggs, you came across another article. I've come across multiple articles that have just kept reinstating how undershown and highlighted and I guess underrepresented of the struggles of trying to make it to the LPGA. And even when you make it to the LPGA, it's not just gravy from there. It's a challenge. If you're not inside that top 10, or you don't have just some crazy endorsement deal, if you're the gal that just got her tour card and you're starting out, it's a struggle financially. And I know for Symetra Tour, it's even harder just because you don't have the same amount of sponsorships as being able to say, yeah, I have my tour card. You know, this is what I can do. So I kind of want to talk about that this week. And I kind of want to talk about, I know you had an article that you had read that kind of highlighted, and so did I. Mine's based more on the mini tour side, so the Symetra Tour and that. But yeah, let's start with you, Biggs.
Yeah, from Yahoo Sports, Doug Ferguson has a great article in regards to the LPGA Tour season on more sponsor interest in women's sports. And, you know, I think we talked about this in great lengths about there is so much opportunity out there for the LPGA to really grab a hold of, but who's leading the charge to grab a hold of that? I think Mike Wan was really, and by the way, I want to just tell people out there too, stop emailing me about Mike Wan's name. I'm getting these emails about how Wan is not spelled correctly. And I'm like, It's a name. Stop emailing me about the incorrect spelling of Mike Juan's name when it is correct spelled. But anyway, I think Mike Juan did a great job at grasping that and approaching people. My question and my concern is, where has it gone since Commissioner Juan left the LPGA? Even 10 years ago, the LPGA Tour had 8 players earn at least $1 million in the season. One indication of how much has changed is NASA Hatakata. I don't know if it's that, if I was pronouncing that right, but the 22-year-old from Japan earned more than $1 million from 2 runner-up finishes this year. Now, that's not wins. Those are runner-up finishes.
Mhm.
They came at events with the 2 biggest purses on the LPGA Tour, the U.S. Women's Open and the CME Group Tour Championship. Even so, it was an example of how much stronger the purses are, and now the LPGA Tour heads into the 2022 season where prize money is pushing $90 million. This is what Molly Saman takes over as she begins her first full year as commissioner. She spoke last week about the LPGA Tour being positioned for growth, and that is, this is our time, quote unquote. I think people have also had an awakening around women's sports, she said. And they said, wow, this is an undervalued asset out in the world. We need to accentuate that value. So I think generally, because of the world's focus on diversity and inclusion and equality, I think people have looked at women's sports and said, that's an area in the world that there's not a great deal of parity or a great deal of equity. The LPGA just completed its 72nd season with 15 players earning $1 million or more. Now, Amanda, we're talking about 2 events of the largest purses on the LPGA. Still doesn't hold a candle to the PGA Tour as far as events, where majority of the events is over $1 million purses. Only 2 events, still kind of disappointing.
I think, and everybody, I've said this before, it's not a secret that I think, yes, women's golf not getting the same pay structure as the men, but we don't get the ratings the men do. So I'm not a feminist by any means. I really am not. I don't believe all things are equal and should be equal, but that's for another story. But at the same time, I think if you look within the structure of the LPGA or the Symetra Tour, let's not compare them to the PGA. Let's not compare them to other things. Let's fix the infrastructure of it should be spread out throughout, because what's happening right now is if you're not in the top 10, you're not doing anything other than the few that have one-off endorsements or whatnot. Same with Symetra Tour. You're not making money if you're not coming in the top 5 every event. And so and I think that's got to be fixed first.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
You look at the scale, and because you touched on the fact that you have to be in this top 10, to make money, and then you go to the men's side, and you can finish in 80th place and make just as much money as the girl that's the woman that's coming in second and third and maybe even first, depending on which tournament 100%. It is. So I get what they're doing, but are they making it top heavy?
They 100%.
You know what I mean? Because we could say, we have more $1 million winners. I believe there was like 15 as opposed to 7 or 8 the year before. But if you're putting the majority of money in the top and you're still not taking care of the people on the bottom, how does that level off? You know what I mean?
Saying if the PGA Tour, and I'm just making a number, but let's say the PGA Tour has 50 million to work with, and the LPGA has 20 million to work with. Let's just say, that's terrible, and it does suck that there's a 30 million difference there. But it still has to be strung out appropriately. It still has to be, it can't just be, okay, of this 20 million. And I think that's where the PGA Tour does a better job. Like you said, as long as you make a cut, you're making money. And that doesn't mean getting some of your expenses back. But, so then you move down a tier. So LPGA, we move down to Symetra Tour. These gals are spending, expenses are falling around 50 grand minimum for the year because of travel and flights and all of that they're, so if they are not, there's no way you don't win 50 grand at a Symetra Tour event. So you win a couple thousand, and if you win it, maybe you win 8,000, 10,000, nothing incredible. So it's like you have to go out and win 6 events to even get your money back.
By the way, I want to just say kudos because I'm just reading some information right now, and I have confirmed this information. Terry Duffy, the CEO and chairman of CME, has been among the biggest proponents by providing the largest first place check at $1.5 million. Get this, though. The CME Group Tour Championship has raised its purse from $2 million next year to $7 million, with a $2 million going to the winner.
Okay.
That's huge.
That is huge. And
that is huge.
And I hope everybody that sponsors, I mean, this is one tournament, right? Where is the rest of the backing on this? If Terry Duffy says, okay, we need to do it this way, right. and I'm reading, stuff where the 5 majors have a total money prize of at least 26.3 million, but that's for next year. It was, and it's up from 18.7 million. It's a jump, not much of a jump for 5 tournaments.
No, it really isn't. If you put it in perspective, how much did did they offer on the PGA Tour to just do social media? What was it, 40 million? If it was $40 million to the top 10 players, and based on 8 million, blah blah blah, and working, it's way down just on social media. That's not golfing, social media. So you got $40 million they're going to give, as opposed to next year the women as a whole for the whole entire year. Right now, there's an opportunity to win 90 million. So you got 90 million for the whole year to be dispersed. $2 million purse here, $1 million purse here, nothing on the bottom side. PGA Tour, tweet, send an Instagram. You might make $8 million.
Yeah, see, that is a struggle for me. I think, like I said, I think we need to be, tit for tat on everything with the PGA Tour. No, we don't get the ratings. There's no way. If we get to a place with this new commissioner that she can, like we had talked about a couple weeks ago, it's on her to get more coverage. It's on her to promote women in a different way. The fact that we're not getting ratings and we're females in golf skirts, come on, like how are we not getting these ratings? But once that gets fixed, then I could look at, okay, we need to be equal. But until then, I think it's got to be equal in the sense of how we break down whatever number we're working with. Like Bill said, you can't be top heavy and have 5 people making money and the rest not. Yeah, you can't do it. You can't. No,
it won't work that way. But I want to throw out there also, I'll play devil's advocate. A guy will go out there and watch the PGA. They'll watch it on TV. They'll do this and do that. And they talk about audience and this and that. And I know, and Biggs feels the same way. We love watching the women. How come women aren't? Because there's a lot more women in this world than men. How come they're not sitting down watching the LPGA Tour or supporting it? Because you get the women, you get the little girls, you get the little boys. That's how we grow women's golf, just as easy as going. We got to start supporting our own. You know what I mean? I'm going to throw out there for women, start supporting LPGA. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's about growing the game as a whole. So you have more than 3, but you have 3 target areas. Like you said, you have men that you want them to watch the LPGA. So you're going to approach that one way. Then you have females, you know, that you want them to get involved with golf and follow. And then you have the young generation that you're wanting to inspire. So you've got 3. And like I said, there's a million more audiences than that. But
I'm getting told in my ears, continue this conversation on our round table.
Okay, we'll hit it on the round table.
Round table. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me. We will continue this over at the round table. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. And until next week, keep swinging for par.